You're listening to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing top realtors from coast to coast to give you a backstage pass on how they've created their amazing real estate empires and how you can copy them. Hi, everyone. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today, we have Frank Versace from Winnipeg, Canada. Frank, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Craig. Great to be here.
You can call me Todd. I get that a lot.
I keep seeing Todd on the screen, so yeah, no worries, all good.
Hey, tell us a little bit about how you found me, how you were selling real estate before you found me, and what's changed.
Sure. So, interesting story. It's late 90s. There, I was a stockbroker and decided to start a real estate company, software company. So we're growing this real estate software company and we're expanding across Canada. And I fly to Toronto to try to meet with some agents. And while I'm there, this is 2002. I see this Craig Proctor real estate super conference with 1,500 agents or plus showing up. And I thought, I got to go check this thing out because that's our target market. So I show up at the conference, not even in real estate, just trying to sell to realtors. That's funny. Because I still I kept the binder from 2002. So there you go.
That's going to be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, that'll be in the Smithsonian. So I was, interesting enough, I mean, your entire program, the DISC program, and just the way you had everything laid out, that actually struck a chord with me. And I ended up getting out of that software company and hopping into real estate. Primarily, a lot of what you said during that conference just really got me excited about the real estate industry and becoming a realtor and getting into the profession of being a realtor.
What does your business look like today, and what's your goal or vision with what you've got here?
So today, we're sort of we've taken down the Your Home Sold guaranteed realty brokerage. So super excited about that. The idea behind that was I was an independent broker. I spent about 12 years with Remax. And then I, started my own company, Versace Real Estate. And then I decided I was looking at what is the next step for me? What is the next way that I can grow? What is the next way that I can have a sort of a systematic way to create predictable results? And, constantly listening to podcasts and audios and stuff. And I saw Rudy on one. And he started talking about Your Home Sold Guaranteed. So I started Googling and doing a bunch of research. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is Craig Proctor. This is the guy that I went to in 2002 has turned this into a brokerage. And so I started down that rabbit hole and got really excited and jumped in. So my goal is to grow the Your Home Sold Guaranteed realty brokerage and expand here in Winnipeg and beyond. So right now we're running, we've got, there's 4 OSAs, realtors. We've got an inside salesperson. We've got a marketing person. We've got a client care manager. And we're doing, before, just getting started here, we're sort of around that 480, 500 grand in commissions.
Pretty good for not doing this that long. Tell us about what makes your operation different than the way most real estate agents and brokerages work.
So I think the way most brokerages work, is basically, you throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks. Most coaches, out there don't have a system, don't have a way to predictably generate business that's coming to them. So it's all about going out and prospecting, door knocking, hitting the phones, call, trying to convert people and push people into, hey, deal with me. I'm the best, right? That sort of messaging. And I think the main difference here with Your Home Sold Guaranteed is all the USPs. And when we say USPs, it's the unique selling propositions, Your Home Sold Guaranteed or I'll buy it. And that kind of messaging that really attracts the public to want to find out more.
So if I'm a real estate agent in Winnipeg, Manitoba, why would I want to come and work with you? What would be different or better?
Yeah. So one of the things that's really important when you go work for any other brokerage, you're kind of left on your own and you got to figure things out. You've got to go out and get your own business, which is, 3/4 of the battle is finding the customers and then converting them. So what we do that's different is we're out there, we're generating leads. And then we've got an inside sales department that basically calls those leads, scrubs those leads for you. And then as we find the ones that are ready to meet, we're popping them into your calendar as a booked appointment. So you show up and your calendar shows, hey, you've got a meeting on this day at 2:00 with this buyer or this seller. Now, the next question that realtors are asking is, that's great, but what do I do at the meeting? And so now step number 2 is we've got the presentations, whether it's the VIP buyer presentation or the seller benefits presentation. So now you're using our language, your language actually, to convince the person that we're the right company for them.
Okay, so if I'm a real estate agent that works at your brokerage, I'm not running around door knocking, cold calling. I'm not spending any of my own money to generate leads. And you're not given leads, actually, you're actually given listing appointments and buyer appointments.
Yes.
When you work on your team. So you pay for all the marketing. The leads come into your inside sales team. They call, pre-qualify, set up the appointment for the outside sales agents. So if you're watching this and you're in Winnipeg, Manitoba, you definitely want to have a conversation with Frank, because you literally would be going from listing appointment to buyer appointment. Everything else is taken off your plate. So you're not, taking pictures of houses or getting keys cut at Home Depot or installing lock boxes or doing paperwork. All of that is delegated to the administrative staff. So as an agent, you can focus on the thing that you like to do, which is make money, which is getting, signatures on listing agreements and offers to purchase and sale. So why wouldn't every real estate agent in Winnipeg want to come and work with you then?
That's a good question. I think there's probably a little bit of, in fairness, I think there's probably a little bit of skepticism because the industry doesn't work that way. And so you've got the traditional system of, call your friends, call your families, call the for sale by owners, knock on doors, drop off flyers. And so when people hear, oh, this seems like an easier, faster, better, more convenient way to do business, that's going to give me a higher income and all the details are taken care of, it goes against the grain. And people are wondering, is this really true? I think there's a skepticism there.
Do you feel a real estate agent in your marketplace could net a lot more money in their pocket if they came to work with you versus what they're doing now?
100%. 100%. I mean, when you're just going and you're dealing with people that want to do business with you and you're just presenting a presentation that's already been proven and tested, and the result is going to be positive in most cases, then why would you want to try and reinvent the wheel? The one thing that's really great that I really appreciate about the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty business is the university. I mean, you log in there and I know every company says we have training. The reality of it is it's a mishmash. It's a hodgepodge. And so you're going from one course to another course, from one training to another training. And there is no congruency in what you're learning. With the Your Home Sold University, you're in a course with modules and it's taking you down a logical path so that you have the skills and the training so that you can go in and be successful when you're actually meeting with people.
Well, you said you were with Remax before. I mean, they've got training. How's this training different than what they provide?
Well, again, so yeah, they've got their training. I think a lot of it, as I mentioned, is more hodgepodge. It's hey, why don't you take a little bit of information on social media, and then you get somebody that comes on and they sort of spit off a few things, and they tell you, oh, you should do a little bit of this, and then they tell you how great they are. But there is no step-by-step systematic way to put it all into process.
So there is a best way. There's a best way to do all of this. It can be all systemized, so then you can scale it and make it really, really big. How do you recruit agents now? So obviously you've got an overflow of business. You've got more business than you can handle, and you're looking to partner up with the top agents in your city. So how do they know about you? How do they understand? I guess the old saying, Frank, is if everyone understood what you offered, right, and they all believed it, they'd all be working with you. So how do you get the word out there to other agents that you literally can make way more money working with me, like net in your pocket, and actually work less? I mean, that's the crazy thing about it is we get into real estate because we want freedom, right? Which means I need to make a lot of money and not trade my whole life to it. Most agents either are not making a lot of money And for the few that do make a lot of money, they do trade their lives for this. They're working 70 or 80 hours a week, where you provide a really great balance for the agents on your team, because you cover all the expenses, right? All the marketing, all the administrative, the signs on the lawn, everything gets paid for from the brokerage. And you're lining the agents up just with appointments. And the other thing is the time and the training that you put into this. So it's not like, I shouldn't say every brokerage, but a lot of brokerages, like they'll say, come and work with us and we're going to provide you a lot of training. But like you said, it's pretty lackluster, right? It's not like what you do, right? I mean, you're actually committed to spending a lot of time, not just the orientation when people start, but ongoing training. Basically, you're training the people on your team forever. Like, you're spending hours and hours with them. What are you training them on? Like, what kind of, if I was to partner up with you, I'm in Winnipeg and I'm to partner up with you, you're giving me appointments, but what are you going to coach me up on so I'm super productive?
So part of it is, when you go to meet with, say, for example, a seller, I think a lot of agents walk in, they sort of have the chinny chin chin presentation, which is walk around, take a quick look at the house, maybe pull out a CMA, your house is worth X, and then, they hope to get the business. What we're doing I've
never heard of the chinny chin chin presentation, but that's good.
Yeah.
So sit there, rub the chin, look around.
Yeah. I think it's worth about $550. You want, here's the comps. Let's go. What are you going to do? We're going to put a sign in the yard and take some pictures. So that's not powerful enough. Especially, it's fine if it's your sphere of influence and it's somebody, it's your mom, it's your dad, that's fine. They trust you. But when you're going in on any sort of volume of listing appointments, for example, dealing with sellers that don't know you, and they're going to pay you X commission to get their home sold, they're looking for some substance. And so you've got to have a structured presentation that you're taking them through that's very powerful. And so when we're bringing agents on, that's one of the things that we're training on. And so they're going through the university, and we're also doing role plays here in the boardroom, in the office, on a regular basis, walking through what are you going to say in a listing appointment? How do you handle objections? What is the full presentation from start to finish, back and forth, so that they're literally a ninja when they're sitting in front of a seller, and they have extreme confidence, because that's what a seller's buying is. They're buying your confidence to get the job done.
That's true. I remember when I was selling real estate, I would be so energetic and speak with such conviction that often halfway through my presentation, the seller would say, "Okay, stop. We've heard enough. Like, you're obviously really into it." So yeah, your passion, but you can't just be passionate and talk meaningless words. You actually have to have great substance, which is exactly what you coach up all of your team members to. There's a best way to do this. So here's what we do when we first get into the house. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's what's going to happen next. And if they follow this system, they come back with a signed listing instead of a story, right? Instead of an excuse.
100%.
So, okay, so let's recap this. The name of the company is Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, which is a unique selling proposition. A unique selling proposition, everybody, is like the reason you exist. What makes you different or better than anyone else? So you look at all the different real estate companies out there, if you Google Remax or Century 21 or Keller Williams, but then you Google Your Home Sold, you'll see instantly there's way more searches for that. It is the thing that sellers want, by the way. We as real estate agents think they want to list their house. They really don't. They want to just get it sold. Hence the popularity of iBuyer companies. Mm-hmm. Frank, you and I were together in Anaheim. I think you were in Anaheim a few weeks ago, right?
I wasn't in Anaheim. I was in Cancun. I was in Cancun for sure.
Well, shame on you. Well, are you coming? Are you going to be in Toronto over the next few days? We're doing a meeting there as well.
I won't. I was in Atlanta there in Beaufort.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, we meet with our broker owners and our agents on a regular basis. I got a meeting 2 days in Toronto starting tomorrow, where we'll have 80 Your Home Sold brokers together in their teams. So we're constantly training on best practices. So you've got to have something unique that buyers and sellers want, number one, okay? Or they're not going to do business with you. So the ultimate question that every buyer and seller is either outright asking you, or they're at least thinking about it, is why should I choose to do business with you versus all other options? And in real estate, of course, there's thousands and thousands of options in every marketplace. So the name of the company answers that question. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Okay, our name is our promise. So basically, if we don't sell your home, we're going to buy it. That's how that works. This attracts an enormous amount of interest from buyers and sellers. Way more business than Frank or any one real estate agent could handle. See, Frank really doesn't want to be a real estate agent. He wants to have a business. That's what he has, where he can serve thousands of buyers and sellers, and it doesn't just depend on him. And he wants all the agents that work on his team to have the same type of life, where they're making more money partnering up with Frank than they would, being a solo agent at Remax or another company. So if I want to find out more about how this would work for me, what would be the best way to reach out to you and at least have a conversation about how is it true? How could I make more money, work less, and have a better life in real estate?
Absolutely. So, I mean, probably the easiest way is to just give me a call on cell. So it's 204-292-4848. And, or you can get me an email, frank@versacerealestate.com, or Google me or find me on any social media. It won't be too hard to find me.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some hardball questions then. So is this real? Do you really, I'm going to be the ultimate skeptic here. So you're telling me, Frank, if I come and work with you, I can block off when I don't want to work. So I don't want to work Friday nights. I don't want to work Saturday mornings. I'm with my kids or whatever. So I can block that out. But anytime I have my daytimer full, you're just going to fill it with buyer and seller appointments, not leads. I don't want leads. I don't want to call people where they don't answer the phone. I don't want to make 100 phone calls. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to make hundreds of phone calls to people that aren't going to answer their phone or say, I didn't request that, or I don't remember doing that, or someone was playing with my phone. No. If you partner up with Frank, these are appointments. Does everyone understand? These are appointments, not leads. These have been vetted. These are people that when you show up at their house, they're not saying, well, why are you here? We don't want to. No, it's not that. These are people that want to sell their home. And by the way, if you're ever sent out on an appointment where they don't want to sell their home, tell Frank about it. He's going to fix that so it doesn't happen again. Okay? Because we respect your time.
Yeah.
Okay. As a real estate agent, that's how you make money. You have to have respect for your time. So you're going out in these appointments. Now, as Frank said, you can still blow it if that's where this ended, where Frank gave you a lot of appointments, but you came back to the office with a story and not with the listing signed. Well, that's not going to work for you. It's also not going to work for Frank because he spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars creating that opportunity for you. So that's when the training kicks in. Okay. So you've got a great name of your company. It's not Century 21. It's not this or that. It's Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Our name is our promise. So even the name of your brokerage tells people what you do and how you're different and how you're better. Okay. Now you're going to decide when you want to work. I don't want to work Thursdays. That's cool. So you block off Thursdays. You block off whenever you don't want to work, you block that off. Frank's mission is to fill all that white space up. That's what's going to happen. He's going to fill that up, as many as you can handle. Okay. So you get to decide how many appointments you want. Okay. You're going to go out and you're going to either come back with the listing signed or you're going to come back with a story. Okay. If you come back with a lot of stories, Frank's going to be like, okay, what's up here? Are you following the system? So Frank may go out on with you a couple appointments, may have you record what you say. But if you're not coming back with the listings, that means you're not using our system. Not that we're going to get 100% of the listings, but if you do this properly, following the Craig Proctor system, you're going to come back with 80% sign-up rate. Now, remember, we're only sending you out on real appointments where the real sellers who really want to sell. So we expect you to sign up 80% of them if that's the case, right? Same thing with buyers. The buyers are vetted. They're ready to go. They're not looky-loos. We're not looking to waste your time. That's why we have inside sales agents and lots of qualification that happens. Now, let's say that what I said is true. You would make more money here. Now, don't BS yourself about gross commission income. I recruited a guy from Remax once, Frank, and all he wanted to talk about is how he made $100,000. And, his ego was more important than his bank account.
Yeah.
This guy he told me, I called him, by the way. He didn't call me. His ego would never have allowed him to call me. So I pursued the guy. I knew the guy and I called him. And I really had to work at setting up an appointment because for him, even though on the surface he said, I got into real estate because I want to make more money and have more time, it was more important for him to have his name out there and his name on the for sale signs. But his real estate business wasn't really serving him at all. He'd just gone through a divorce because he was working all the time. So he kind of lost his family over the business. And what's it all for? The guy said he grossed $100,000. Then we got into, well, what did you net? Well, what do you mean? Well, what do you keep? Well, this guy was spending $40,000 to make the 100. So, I called his attention to the fact, okay, you're making $60,000 a year. You're working 70 hours a week. It just cost you your family. We can make sure that you're going to make 3 or 4 times that net in your pocket. So first year he worked with me, he made $250,000 net in his pocket.
Wow.
Okay. And he was with me for 15 years. I had a number of agents that were, and this is back in the day, right, where $250,000 was a lot of money. So we have outside sales agents in Craig Proctor world. Some of them make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. Yes, it is possible. Now, Winnipeg, your marketplace, the prices are a little lower, but still, so is the cost of living. If you're netting $250,000, $300,000 in Winnipeg, that's still pretty good, right? Net, we're talking net here. Okay. Most agents, what they gross is gross. So we're looking for talented people. We're looking for people that want to work and want to learn. And we're not looking for people that have a massive ego, because you're not going to do this. For some agents, them having their name on the sign or their picture up there in the spotlight, that's more important actually than making more money or having more time, which I get it. But if ego is more important than income, this is probably not for you. But some of you, if you're in Winnipeg, you're going to know Frank. If you're not in Winnipeg, you can reach out to me. Okay. What I'll do is I'll provide everyone watching this, if you want, a one-on-one call with my team. Okay. With my team and I, we set aside certain amounts of time every week to talk to real estate agents that want to do what Frank is doing. So when Frank met me, he wasn't even a real estate agent. He was trying to sell something to real estate agents, stumbled upon the conference, and here we are today. Many of you may be stumbling onto our podcast here by accident. Some of you watching this, know who I am. Some of you are our clients. Frank, you've met people that have been with me for over 20 years.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to create lifelong relationships with real estate agents that get it and provide enormous value to them. So some of you have found me here today and you're listening to this and you're not in Winnipeg. If you're in Winnipeg, by the way, you don't need to call Craig. If you're in the city of Winnipeg, you just need to call Frank. Okay. We'll put his contact information below here and we'll have my contact information. For me, it's proctorcall.com. You just go to proctorcall.com. That's my acuity day timer and you can book a day and a time. It's not going to be a sales pitch. I got nothing really to sell you. I'm just going to talk to you about, here's our approach. I'd ask you a bunch of questions about what you're doing, and I would show you how we would do this differently. And if it makes sense, you would say, okay, I want to learn more. And if it doesn't make sense, then just keep doing what you're doing. So I have more people interested in this, believe me, than time slots available. So if you can get a time slot, you go to proctorcall.com. It's a conversation. That's where all good things start. This is just you investigating what this is all about. Because one of two things, either, Frank and I are making this up and we're full of, what, or there's actually something to this, right? I've been around for 30 years. So, if I'm fooling people, I've been doing a pretty good job for a long, long time. Or is there something here for you? There's two options. You can do what Frank is doing, and you start your own brokerage, right? You start your own team. Or maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to be part of someone else's team. And there's nothing wrong with that either, right? If you want to make a couple $100,000 a year and not work 7 days a week and net that in your pocket, then you should join one of our teams. Okay, we have brokerages all over the United States and Canada. So that might be a possibility for you. Maybe that's where you want to start, is work with one of our brokers like Frank, make some money. You can decide if you want to continue doing what you're doing now, which is probably working too hard for not enough, or investigating this option. You've met some pretty wonderful people inside Craig Proctor world. Let's talk about the importance of who you hang out with and the conversations that you're now having. I always say to people, if you want to change your income, you got to change what you're thinking about. Obviously, you got to change what you're doing. You've got to start talking to people that you're not talking to, right? You've got to start thinking these thoughts that you're not thinking right now. How much of a difference has that made, the community and the agency you've met inside of Craig Proctor?
It's huge. I mean, I've been to a number of conferences now, and the one thing that's really cool is that as you're talking to from person to person to person, they're so giving, they're so sharing. It's really neat how everybody is just willing to tell you, quote unquote, their secrets, where you would not find that in any other mastermind or any other sort of brokerage. Everyone's sort of keeping their quote unquote secrets together. And it sort of hit me. The reason why it's they're willing to share is that it's not a secret. We're all on the same path. We're all following the Craig Proctor system. So no one's created anything that they have to hide from someone else. It's more about using the strategies that you've already put in place and just sharing that. And some people are further down the curve than other people. So, there's nothing to hide. It's all out in the open. And that's what I really appreciate. So, there's always someone that's 10 steps ahead of you, and you can look at them and say, that's where I aspire to go to.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need to find someone that's doing it all. You just need to find someone inside Craig Proctor world that's a little bit ahead of you on the curve. And whatever problems you're having, believe me, they've had those problems before. They're on the other side of it. They've got the solutions. And when you solve these problems and your business grows, you just have different problems, right? Maybe bigger problems or better problems. But as your business grows, you'll just continue to have different challenges. And there's always someone there that's a little bit ahead of you that's figured that out before. So to wrap this up, Frank, like, why do this? What drives you? What's your WIFM?
So I want to put something in place that that can stand the test of time. Mm-hmm. That I could probably, I've got a couple of kids. I've got 3 kids actually, and one of them has expressed an interest to get into the business. He's still a little bit younger, 16, but he's expressed an interest. I think that having something that can work necessarily without me, I have something to be able to pass on, is really a motivator for me.
So number one, obviously you want to make your life better for you and your family, make more money, spend more time, but you're looking to create a legacy. Tell me about your dad. Your dad was in real estate.
Well, my dad immigrated from Italy, so he's Italian born, and came to Canada trying to create a better life for himself and his family. Got into buying some rental properties. He wasn't in real estate sales, but he was buying rental properties and did pretty well there. And kind of encouraged me, hey, get into real estate. It's a good career. You can buy properties, you can sell properties, you're going to meet people. And so that was something that got me excited about the business. My dad.
So that was your first exposure to real estate, and real estate being a good idea. So your dad coming from Italy probably thought, the opportunity here to buy land and everything seems sort of probably inexpensive compared to over in Europe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He was buying, duplexes and single family homes. So I grew up and let's go over and paint the fence and fix things and stuff like that. So seeing it firsthand as a kid.
Yeah, that's cool. I know your dad had some kind of real estate involvement there. Well, look, Frank, I want to thank you for doing the interview here. It's been nice getting to know you better. Final thoughts that you'd like to pass on to real estate agents who have been watching our interview here today?
I would say don't be skeptical. Craig laid it out pretty well in terms of what you're going to get if you come over here. So I would suggest if you have any questions or thoughts, or there's a bit of curiosity in the back of your mind, let's meet, let's chat. The best thing I can do is open up our system and show you exactly what is happening, so you can see proof is in the pudding right in front of you.
That's true. Once you see this, folks, you can't unsee it. Once you hear this from Frank, you can't unhear it. So you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Give us your phone number again, Frank.
Yeah, so it's 204-292-4848. That's my direct cell.
Well, I would pick up the phone. I would call Frank, have a conversation, see where it goes. But I want to thank everybody for watching our interview today. I hope you pick something up. There is a better life in real estate that's available to you. And that better life is understanding marketing, putting systems and processes in place so you can make more money and you can work less and eventually leverage yourself through the efforts of people. So you have a real business. You can go away on vacation and do the things that you want to do. Real estate doesn't have to be difficult. I've been there before. Frank's been there before. When we start off in this business, the tendency is to look around at how everyone else does it, believing that's the best way. And it's not. So like whatever you're doing in real estate right now, let's be honest, you didn't invent it. If you're door knocking or cold calling or chasing FSBOs, you didn't invent that. You copied that from somebody. So why not just copy a better system? What if this is true? What if we're not BSing you? What if this absolutely is true, that we can provide you with qualified buyer and seller appointments, not just leads, but actual listing appointments and buyer appointments, as many as you can skillfully handle? What if we did provide you relevant coaching and training, and we gave you systems and processes? How much money could you make if you were plugged into a proven system? You see, every franchise says, here's how we do it here. But let's be honest. I don't know if you guys are with a franchise. Maybe some of you are independents, but most of you are probably with a franchise. So I was with Remax, for example, for 25 years. And as we know, if you work at a franchise, it's not what the public thinks, by the way. The public thinks a franchise would have a way of doing things. In fact, if you Google, what is a franchise, they would say, well, a franchise is a proprietary way of doing something. So if you worked at McDonald's, the French fries are cooked for 45 seconds or whatever. They have systems and manuals and procedures for everything. That's not true in real estate. I don't know if you guys have thought about that, but at the Remax office I worked at, there were some of the top agents in town, and some of the least successful agents in town were at my brokerage. There were Remax agents that were in the business for 30 years, but there was also Remax agents that had their license for 30 weeks. That is true for every company. So the public, the buyers and sellers, quickly learn that the most important decision is not just the company, it's the real estate agent within that company, because real estate agents vary quite a bit. So what is it that the top agents are doing? Okay, what is it that everyone else is doing? What is it that you're doing right now that you believe you need to do? Because I don't think you're doing things that you think are, not the best way to do it. You probably, you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. We want to introduce you to some other thoughts just to consider. Doesn't mean you have to do any of this, but why not have a conversation? If you're going to be in real estate for the next 5 or 10 years, it would really suck, right? 10 years from now to find out about this and realize, holy cow, I could have made way more money over the last 10 years. And I hear that all the time from real estate agents. Frank, you've heard agents say, man, I wish I had found Craig Proctor 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So it's not too late. Just be curious and be open to better ways of doing it. Sometimes, we're stubborn. We get married to our approach. I think what happens is holy cow, I put so many years into doing it this way. I would hate to start over again. Well, sometimes that's what's required. If you want to make a massive shift, is you just need to start looking at your business from the outside. I've coached agents now for years and years and years. And sometimes within the first 5 minutes of a conversation with an agent, I'm asking them a whole bunch of questions. And then I'll say, well, why do you do this? And why do you do this? And then within 5 minutes, they have an epiphany because they realize that they're locked into something that really isn't the best approach. And all I've done is ask them a bunch of questions about what they do and why they do it and how, have you ever tried this or that? So you should be curious in business because that's the fun part of real estate for me anyway. I love the strategy part of it. I love the marketing part of it. It's really cool to be able to help people create a business to get what they want. So I want to leave everyone with this thought is, what is it that you really want? What is your why? What is your heart's desire? Or have you suppressed that? In real estate, it's like, well, I'd love to go to Europe. I'd love to buy that new house. I'd love to buy that red sports car or give money away to charity or whatever your thing is. But we're so busy working, we never really get to that stuff until it's too late. And when, they talk to people, I was reading something from a minister and he was talking about what people say on their deathbeds. And it's not what we think, right? We think people on their deathbeds, they probably regret all the stuff they did in their life, right? Oh, I did this and I did this. But he said it's not true. The minister said that what people regret on their deathbed is what they didn't do in life, right? The vacation they didn't do, the house they didn't buy, the whatever it was that they didn't do, it was the sins of omission. So I'll leave everybody with that thought. Life is short. We're reminded of this. Every time we lose a loved one, we're shaken to the core because it's a reminder to all of us, this doesn't go on forever. Okay, so every time you're working hard and you're frustrated, and you're not reaching your goals, think about that's another minute that's gone. Okay, so there is some urgency to discovering better ways in your business so you can spend the time that you have left in the best way possible. And we don't know how much time we're going to have. Being Canadian, I've played hockey my whole life. And when I was 15 years old, one of the kids that I play hockey with got a puck right in the neck and was killed instantly. And he was 15 years old. So if, we were to talk to him before the game and say, hey, as a 15-year-old, how much longer do you think you have to live? He'd probably say, I don't know, 70 years, right?
Yeah. My
grandfather lived to almost 90 years of age, and he was healthy and rode his bike around town till he was 90 years old and got sick, and he was gone in a couple of weeks. Why do I share this story? Well, because we don't know how much time we have left. We don't know whether we're going to be like my friend who didn't even have a half an hour left, or whether they're going to be like my grandfather and live to 90. It's what we do with that time. So just a reminder, we all know this. This is nothing new. We all know that life is short. So let's get your business in order. I believe you found me here and you're watching this for a reason today. Frank's a good guy. Just call him, have a conversation with him. Okay. I think you can tell, who he is. He's genuine. He wants to do a good job. Reach out to him, have a conversation. If you want to talk to me again, it's free. It's proctorcall.com. Book a time. We'll do it over Zoom. We can show you a few things. You can share with us what you're doing. No hard sales pitch or anything like that. I don't need your money. I'm good. What I want to create are legacies. Okay. I want people like Frank that are around me for a long, long time that can say, hey, this is what I've done with this. That's what interests me at this point. So, Frank, I want to thank you for a great interview here today. Look forward to you soon. I'll say hi to everybody tomorrow in Toronto for you. And to everybody watching, thank you for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show, and we'll see you again next time. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. what I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's going to let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.